Hey everybody, this is Preezy. Check out my website at www.listenuplistening5687.com. That's www.listenuplistening5687.com. You ready to chit chat and all of that? You ready to vent, let it out? Well, come on now. Come on, collab with Preezy. Come on and be on Listen Up, Listen In as a guest. Contact me at 718-354-8405. 718-354-8405. You can also contact me by email, listenuplistening5687@gmail.com. One more time, listenuplistening5687@gmail.com. Let's get it.
Hi there, this is Jamila Adams, host of the Jamila Adams Experience, where it's a place and a space for women over 40 to be inspired, encouraged, and heard. You're welcome to join the experience every Friday.
Hey everybody, before I even get started, all praises due to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every day. Amen. Now let's start the show.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Let's swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. I'm your host, Preezy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I have a special guest today with me. But let me tell you a little bit about this guest before she comes on and tell you all about herself. She was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, a true Charlatan. She is the only girl out of 5 children. She's a minister and has her bachelor's degree in theology and pastoral. She has written an autobiography called I've Been There. She talks about some horrific, perturbing life events growing up as a child and how God intervened and turned her upside life back to right standing and how miracles began happening in her life. She doesn't hold back. She tells her story with confidence and boldness. Because of the experiences that she went through as a child, she is now an advocate for youth and young adults that have been sexually abused and may have or are going through dating violence. She's a CEO of Unbreakable Faith Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization, and she inspires others to embrace their truth and realize that they have a voice and they are no longer a victim, but a victor. Her organization is one of the few that caters to both males and females. And this is her motto: your pain today will be your strength tomorrow, helping youth heal from sexual abuse trauma. Keep living, forgiving, and thriving. Joy truly does come in the morning. So without further ado, my special guest, Michelle Dewitt. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Preezy. Glad to be on your show, girl.
I'm happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here. This is part 2. That's all right. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work.
Right.
Yes, I read your bio. But before I even get started, I always like to ask my guests, how's your day?
Oh, I've had a great day today.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You getting this bad weather?
No, not yet. It's headed our way, though. I think it's headed our way.
Yeah, New York is, every day is raining. It's raining. It's raining. So, but we alive, right? And that's the most important thing.
Right.
So I read your beautiful bio. But see, only you can tell your story. So let the world know, who is Minister Michelle Dewitt.
So, who is Minister Michelle Dewitt? She is a woman that loves to have fun. I love to have fun. That's why I love you, because you like to have fun. And
Yes,
so, yeah. So I like to have fun, and I'm very real. I'm not one of them people that covers up. I am a minister, but I do keep it real. Um, I'm not all that deep and all that stuff. I don't come at anyone with all that, I can't think of the word right now, but I don't do all that other stuff. That's what I'm saying.
right.
So I
I
love
feel
being around the youth and joking around. That keeps me young.
that's beautiful. Yes, that's awesome. So you're the only girl out of five. So to me, I would think you had a lot of protection.
Not really.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of protection. I'm in the middle, so two before and two after. My oldest brother, he didn't live with us. It must have been a thing back in the day where grandma took the child or something, because I hear that a lot, that the oldest child was with the grandmother. And that's what happened with my oldest brother. So he wasn't in the home. And so my other brother, he called himself protecting me. He did the best he could, and of course, the two younger ones, they weren't no good to help me out. I love my brothers, but I tell you, they wasn't big like that. I'm protecting me.
Right, right, right. Wow. So when you say they weren't there to protect you from what?
Well, at a very young age, I was molested. I was like 3.5, 4 years old, and I was molested by two family members. And but I didn't tell anyone though, so I can't blame them for not protecting me, because I didn't say anything. I mean, I'm just a 4 year old girl. I don't know what's going on. And then as I grew and molestation continued, I didn't say anything. I kept it to myself. I was feeling ashamed at that time. I knew something wasn't right. I knew I knew it wasn't right, but then again, I didn't want to be disobedient, because at that time, you listen to what adults say and don't question them. So I went through the molestation for quite a long time, from 4 years old all the way up. I was about um, all the way up 14. I can say all the way up to about 14, because 14 is when I got raped
Wow.
by another family member. So yeah, I went through a lot of hell in my life as a child. I didn't have a normal childhood. I grew up in a home with a lot of verbal abuse and physical abuse. My daddy was physically and verbally abusive to my mother. And so I had a lot of fear in my life. I was scared of everything because of that. Very fragile uh, little girl that her world, it was chaotic and hellacious. I went through a whole lot of horrific stuff.
Wow. So you didn't have anybody to talk to about this situation.
No, no.
No grandmother, no mother around to talk
My
to or
mom,
to feel comfortable to talk to.
no, my mom, that was my mother, but I heard my daddy beating on my mom at night. My bedroom was right beside my dad and mom. So at night I could hear her screaming and stuff from him beating on her at night. I guess
Wow.
she wasn't giving him what he wanted, and so he beat on her. So I didn't want to put any more burden on my mother. And that's a shame that a young girl, a fragile girl, thinks about other people before herself, especially my mom, putting her before me. I'm concerned about what she would think or how she would feel and the pressure that she would be under, because I love my mom. I love my dad too, but mom is mom. I couldn't talk to my grandmother. neither one of them, because I was being molested on both sides of the family.
Wow. Wow. And where did all this happen at?
It happened when I was little. It happened in the home when I was 4 and 5, because my uncles had to watch the family, two of them, when my daddy left early for work. And then visiting my grandmother, both grandmothers, I was being molested. And at the age of 14, it was just a pattern where I would have to go and visit my grandmother on my dad's side. She stayed like a couple of doors down. And so it was a requirement that my brothers and I go and, spend some time with her on the weekend, and or either go, by ourselves. If one didn't go, the other one would go, whatever. It was just one of the rules of the house, is make sure we spend time with our grandmother. And so, yeah, I went down there one time, and my uncle would always ask me to come in the bedroom. He would begin fondling and messing around with me. And then I would go home. And of course, humiliation. I'm in school. And in my mind, the guilt of feeling like everybody knows what's happening, but they really don't. But in my mind, I'm thinking everybody knows, and here I am, this ugly, nasty girl in school. So one day I went to my grandmother's house, and I didn't want to stay. I went down there, and I was like, okay, he's in the bedroom. I don't have to worry about saying anything to him. I'll just say hey to my grandmother and then give her a kiss and go back out the door. But he opened that door when he heard my voice, and he said, I want to show you something. Of course, he was letting me watch. I mean, not watch anything, but I was looking at porn in the magazines back then. That was what it was. And so I will look at the porn, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But that particular day, he raped me, and we were scuffling in the room. My grandmother heard it. She was in the kitchen cooking cornbread. And I remember her opening the door. She was humming in the kitchen. We were scuffling. She opened the door. She saw him on top of me. She saw me pushing him, and she closed the door back. She didn't say
Oh my
anything.
goodness.
Yeah.
So after that happened, you didn't tell anybody. It was just it happened. I can't say anything.
Right.
Who am I gonna tell, or even if they're gonna believe me?
Right. Exactly.
Wow. So did you were in school? Did this affect you as far as your schoolwork?
Yeah, I was making good grades in school, and then my grades after I was raped. Like I said, the molestation portion of it, it was just going through life with it. This is what's gonna happen when I come around my uncles. This is what's gonna happen, and that's just the way I thought. But and my grades were okay in school until this rape happened. Once this rape happened, that's when my grades started plummeting. I started getting in fights at school. I remember one time, Preezy, this girl kept messing with me. Oh my God. She kept pushing me in the hallway, talking about me. And I warned her. I told her, I said, I'm going to get you. And that particular day, I was so mad and frustrated. I jumped on that girl so bad. I was on top of her, beating her up and screaming. And it was more so of screaming of all that frustration out of me. It wasn't her. It was what I was going through.
Right.
And at that time, being a 14-year-old girl, I didn't know. It was just all of that was going on. I wanted to let all that out. And I'm screaming, I'm beating her tail. And so they called my mom to the office, and my mom came up there, and the principal said, we were running down the hall to see what was going on, because we thought that she was getting beat up, but it was her beating the girl up. And the principal just laughed. She said, "No, I'm not supposed to laugh." She said, "But seeing your daughter screaming on top of that girl, they thought they would have to." They said it took. Well, the principal was like, "I can't believe it. She's so quiet in school. I can't believe it." But even at that moment, that might have been a good time to say, "This is why, and this is what happened." But at that time, I'm scared that when I
Right.
get home, I'm gonna get in trouble with my dad.
Right.
So I didn't
So
do
you,
that then.
you kept it to yourself.
Kept it to myself.
So so this never came, it never came out?
It came out 6 months later. I never told anyone. I didn't have a cycle because I started my cycle as a young 10-year-old. Now I'm 14, and 6 months has gone by. I'm thinking I'm pregnant by myself. I'm thinking, oh God. And my half sister, we had just met her, and I asked my dad. He never let us go anywhere. So I asked my dad, could I spend the night with her? And he said, well, that's your half sister. You need to get to know her. So I went over there. She was much older than me. Of course, she had her own apartment. When I walked in, it was nice, clean, beautiful. And of course, where we stayed at, it was a mess. But here it is. She in this nice place. And the atmosphere was just clear. It was just peaceful.
Right. Right.
So as I was preparing to get, for bed, I took a shower, and then the showers when I had a breakdown. I started screaming and crying in the shower. And I told my sister what happened to me. I begged her not to tell anyone. Don't say anything. Don't say nothing. She told me she wouldn't. I went back home after the weekend, went to school that Monday. My sister had already called my mom. My mom didn't work. She called my mom. I came home from school, and my mom grabbed me, threw me against the wall, and she was crying. And she slapped me. She was screaming at me, why you didn't tell me? Why you didn't tell me? I'll never forget the pain in my mother's eyes. She didn't want to hurt me. She was just upset and so frustrated at everything that was going on. And I know that. So we talked about it. And then she said, I got to tell your dad. And I kept telling her, please, please, please don't tell him. And that's when she said, that's why you hadn't been asking me to buy any pads for you, because you hadn't had a period. She was like, I was wondering what was going on. I should have asked. And so then she started beating herself up about it. So she did finally tell my dad. She didn't tell him that day, I don't believe. I can't remember if she told him that day or not, but I do know that following weekend there was a family meeting called Preezy, and I'm telling you, it was the most disgusting thing. I was terrified because my uncle now is being called out. My grandmother's there. My brothers are sitting in the floor listening until my dad made them go into the bedroom. And we were just, my dad asked the question. My uncle denied it. My grandmother denied it. And my mom picked up the phone and called the police. And my daddy said, no, nobody's calling the police. He grabbed his gun. He had a rifle. And he went into the bedroom, pulled it out. And he said he'll kill everybody in the house if my mom called the police. So she couldn't call
Wow.
the police. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was horrible.
So
My grandmother told me I was going to hell.
she said you was going to hell, even though she opened the door and saw her son on top of you.
Right. And she said I was a liar.
So he didn't use no protection.
No.
Mm.
Yeah.
So after that family meeting, it was more of, no matter what, it doesn't leave this house. One of those things. It better not ever leave this house.
Right.
Was it like that?
Right. It's whatever's in this house stays in this house. And my daddy called me a whore and a slut.
Wow.
14 years old. And that's what he told me. He said, and if it did happen, you wanted it to.
And so this man was his brother.
Right.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So the only person that really believed you was your mom
Yeah.
and your half sister.
Well, at that time, she did believe me at her house. But my dad picked up the phone and called her, and he put her on speakerphone. And she said, "Yep, this is what she told me." And she was like, "Tell them the truth." And I kept lying. I kept saying, "No, no, 14 years old, I'm scared of my daddy. I done seen the things he done to my mom." And so I'm like, "No," and I'm crying and I'm saying, "No, no, no, you misunderstood. No, no, no." And so,
Oh,
yeah, so I denied it with her. She told me to never, ever talk to her again. She said, "I don't know if you lying then or if you was lying at my house." She said, "But I don't ever want to talk to you again." And to this day, we have never talked.
what? How many years?
I was 14. I'm 49 now.
Oh my gosh.
And she stayed right in the same city I stay in. I've seen her a couple of times. My dad, well, let me say I've never talked to her because I still talk to my dad, please. I still talk to him. I still respect my dad. And one day I went to go see my dad. She was on the phone and he said, "Talk to your sister." We didn't really have much to say to each other. She told me she had a little boy and I was like, "Congratulations." And I don't remember saying too much after that.
Oh man. Wow.
Mm.
So, whew, this is something. Um, did you ever seek any therapy over this?
No. Well, again, it's like what's in this house stays in this house. Never received any therapy at all. I went through a lot of pain. I'll say that. I went through a lot of pain and embarrassment because, I didn't have a period for 6 months. My mom thought I was pregnant. I went to like several doctors. One doctor said I was pregnant with twins. Another doctor said she's not pregnant, she has a tumor. Then another doctor said I was pregnant. And then finally they did a blood test. And the final doctor said, "Listen, after the ultrasound of your daughter, blood work is done. Your daughter's not pregnant. She has a tumor and it's about to burst in her belly and put poison in her to kill her. You have to have surgery immediately." My mom was torn. I never forget. She was sitting one night in the living room eating ice. My mom loved eating ice and reading her Bible, sitting up. And I peeped out the bedroom door and I remember seeing my mom crying. She just didn't know what to do. But she went on ahead and made the decision to have the surgery. And it was a good thing that she did because the doctors told my mom that the tumor they pulled out of me was the size of a basketball, and the other tumor was the size of a tennis ball attached to it. And he said when they cut me open, it had started twisting, and I would have died if my mom would have waited.
Oh my gosh.
They had to remove my left ovary as a 14-year-old girl.
Oh no.
So I had my first cut on my stomach was like a C-section.
Wow. At
Mhm.
14.
14. Then
How did this
it's
go?
horrible. It was just
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. So you, after the operation, you were good. They removed it.
Yeah,
It
they
was
removed
it
it.
cancerous?
No.
Thank God. So it was benign.
Yeah.
So now you in the teenager stage, your 20s, and I'm pretty sure you're dating. How did this whole matter affect you dealing with relationships?
My relationships, just like the teenage girls today and males, they do it too. Um, During my dating times, I was looking for what I was missing in the home, and that was love from my dad. And so if I could get it somewhere else, what I thought was love. It was lust, and sexual behavior. I was out there doing what I grew up doing, letting the guys feel on me, have a good time with me, and I was having sex with anybody. It didn't matter. I was having sex with them. I'm older men. It didn't matter. I was out there. I was out there. I didn't get any sexually transmitted diseases, thank God.
Thank God.
But I was doing a lot of stuff. I wasn't a drinker, a smoker. I was a sex girl. I loved to have sex. That was my addiction. I had to have it.
You was humping.
Yeah.
Yeah. You was humping from state to state. Borough to borough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to,
No, you fine. I
I
love
don't,
it.
you know me, I don't joke
Me.
around stuff, but this was serious, because I, I think perhaps you weren't getting the love from your dad, so you were looking for the love, but all the wrong places. You were looking for that attention that you wasn't getting at home, meaning like the affection, not the sex and nothing, but you was looking for like, hey, I want somebody to love me because I'm not getting it. And if this is the way you love me, I'll take it.
Right.
Was it like that?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was like that. Yep, exactly.
Oh man, that's so sad. So you were just meeting guys and hey, you wasn't even getting their full name. You just, hey, what's up? And you down, that was it.
That was it. The same way guys do. Like I was at the club one night and I'm like 15 and a half, 16. I'm at the club. I'm
At the
at
club,
I'm
you
at the
supposed to be
club.
studying. You at the club.
I'm at
What?
the club.
You got church on Sunday. What you doing at the club? You at the club? What? Was
Yes,
it teen?
I'm at the
Was it at
club.
least? Wait a minute. Wait. Was it at least teen night? It wasn't teen night.
No.
You know how the teenagers have the club. The party start at like 5 and they end at 11.
No.
Oh
No.
wow.
I was at an adult club, and let me tell you, I was dancing with the owner of the club and the DJ, the assistant, and the DJ. I had a good time that night. I gotta tell you, it was great. I had a good time.
Wow.
I'm looking like I'm 21. I had back then it was the fishnet stockings. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. With the short skirt
Yeah. Oh, I had on shorts that night. I ain't never
out there
forget
looking like Madonna, doing your thing. Material girl.
That's me.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I'm out there dancing, having a good time, and I'm in the club, and I'm looking like, I want this dude right here. I know I'm gonna get him by the end of the night. The same thing guys do when they try to get up on
Wow.
girls. So that was my thing. I would go look and see which ones I wanted, and I got them.
So you had a sex addiction. You had a sex addiction. What did I say? Addiction? You had a
Addiction.
sex addiction. Yeah.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
So when did all this stop? And you better not say yesterday, God damn it. The day before yesterday. when,
Oh
when,
God.
when, when did you say, okay, let me get myself
Yeah.
together?
Yeah. So it happened when my children's father, because I got pregnant when I was 16 and a half. I think I was 16 and a half, 7. Yeah, I was 16. Yep, I was 16 when I got pregnant with my oldest son. His birthday would be Sunday. He would be
Wow.
32 years old.
Nice.
Yep. So I ended up getting pregnant, and I became friends with the father of my child. We're best friends to this day. We've been best friends for like 30 years. She was telling me, you need to get into church. You need to get yourself together. And she was telling me how he was over there meeting girls. And she said, I'm serious. Girl sitting on my couch now, and he's here. And
Wow.
so, yeah, he was cheating on me, and I gave birth to this boy. And so I thought he was his son, but that's another story. But yeah, at that
Part
time,
two.
yeah, that's a part two. That's another story. People got to get my book to read that part.
Whoa.
Yeah, they got to get the book. It's in the book. So, but anyway, at that time, I was saying he was a father, and so yeah, it was just I needed to get into the house of God, and I did. I accepted the Lord into my life at 16,
Wow.
and I started going to church. A lot of people helped me out through church, and I kind of drifted away a little bit. You know, we all accept the Lord, but we don't get that relationship with Him.
Right.
So I accepted Him, and the relationship came later. My relationship with Him um, grew stronger at 19. At 19,
Nice.
when I said, okay, I'm done with this. And I developed a strong relationship with him. And ever since 19, I've been in the will of God ever since then.
That's beautiful. You
Yeah.
became God's friend.
Yes.
That's what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we all have to go through our trials and tribulations and stepping on stones and having all these obstacles come our way. And he brought you to him. He
Yeah,
grabbed you up.
yeah, yeah, he did. He did. And at that time, you know people hearing the story of what happened or reading my book about what happened to me, yeah, it was rough. It was atrocious at that time and horrific experience. But now I took um that happened in my life at a young age, and I've turned it around, and I've used it for the good, because now we have counselors. There were counselors then, but back then, if you went to a counselor, you was called cuckoo or whatever. But now
Right.
it's not that way. So now I'm a strong advocate for youth and young adults to get the counseling that they need. That counseling, I believe, if I would have had that counseling then, I wouldn't have been in the streets like that. I
Right.
would have been able to find myself and begin to heal. See, I didn't go through the healing process. And so now with these youth and young adults, they can get counseling, they can receive help anonymously, and there's so many things out there for the youth, and I'm a strong advocate for them, sexually abused youth and sex trafficked youth, and those that have dealt with teen dating violence, because I went through that. I went through a whole lot of that in a very short time of my life. But you would look at me and you could say, nope, you didn't go through any of that. Yeah, I did. But God
When
kept me.
right. When did you become a advocate for the youth?
Oh my goodness. I became a when I became a youth pastor. I was a youth pastor in the AME, and once I became a youth pastor in the AME, I was then talking to the youth. They're very strong about their life decisions and the choices that they make. I would say I was about maybe in my later 20s, like, because I was licensed. I think I was like 25 when I was licensed as a minister, but I became a strong advocate after I wrote my book. After I wrote my book, that's when it was like, okay, this is the direction I've got to go in. And so that was about 2 years ago.
Okay, so you wrote your book about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I see that you stated uh you are now a CEO for an organization called Unbreakable Faith Incorporated.
Yeah, I love my organization. So the foundation is just that. Um, we are mentorship for youth and young adults that have been sexual abused, sex trafficked, dealt with molestation, and have been traumatized by the rape and different things of that nature, the teen dating violence. we're mentors for that. Program basically caters to them, to let them know that they are somebody, not to give up on life, because after you go through this, you begin to think, I'm no good, I'm worth nothing, low self-esteem,
Right.
anxiety sets in, depression, suicidal thoughts, all of that comes together. And my organization, we walk through the steps of how to heal while you're in your counseling, because we're not counselors. We have resources to counselors and officers if they're still in a situation. But what we do is that we offer an environment where they can actually come and be able to express themselves in their way.
Nice. And I see you cater to both male and female.
Right. Like I stated in my bio, there's not too many organizations that do that. I am a part of RAIN. I'm a strong advocate with RAIN, and there are volunteers that help you out when it comes down to speaking to the youth males and the young adult males, and that's always a good relationship to have, a good partnership to have with with them. I remember here last year, I went to Department of Juvenile Justice, where these young guys are incarcerated under the age of 16. Because at 16, you go to adult prison. So these young males are under the age of 16. And my program, my mentorship program, it goes for 6 weeks. And I was able to go into the correctional facility and talk to these young guys about predators and sexual abuse. I was able to do that. It would have been nice to have a male by my side, but at that time I was just starting out. So going out, that was one of the first places I went. And so being able to talk to them, that really opened up a lot of eyes. I saw the knowledge sink in their mind. Like, wow. They started, you know, like, after I get out of here, I'm going to go call my grandma. I'm going to talk to my little sister. Man, I got to talk to my niece. And then there was a young boy who was actually molested, and he was very upset about what happened to him. And a lot of people think that our youth have anger issues, which they may have. That, but we have to go beyond throwing them in jail. Preezy, this is wrong. We need to find out what other solutions we can come up with, because you don't know what they've been through. You just don't know. We can't look at them and say, oh, they spoiled, or they're this and they're that. Not all of them. Not all of them. And young boys that I talked to, that or that correctional facility closed down in December of last year. And I asked the officers, where are they going? They said they're scattering them out in North Carolina. And that particular correctional facility, there were parents that could ride the bus to see their child. But now that they've closed that facility and spread them out on the outskirts of Charlotte, and some of them went to adult prison because they were about to turn 16, this is a mess. Our society, we focus on the wrong things, in my opinion. My opinion is that we need to focus more on what's happening. Before now, back in the day, you didn't turn the television on and see children being abducted or molested by other people. It wasn't spoken of as frequently as it is today. You can turn the television on at any point and you're going to hear that story. It doesn't matter. You're going to hear it every day now. And here it is, Congress and all of them are arguing about money. What about these children, our future? They're damaged. And nobody's doing anything. That doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I remember back in the days, they used to have Scared Straight, and they let the young adults go to the jails, and the inmates would talk to them and scare them up and let them know what goes in here. Don't come here. And I think they should bring that back. Let them see what it is to be incarcerated and to have to be in a small cell or dormitory and for doing a crime. And even if you saved 5 out of 10, that meant something. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to save everybody, but they should bring these programs back. And even when we grew up, they had the summer youth programs. They had so many different programs to keep the kids out the street, to do interesting things and different clubs. And, they had them in different sports. And then where's this? The money seems to be going to all the wrong things instead of the youth.
Yeah.
So, it's tough. And I give it up to the parents out here that have teenagers, because it's not easy. It's so much peer pressure, and it's a lot going on. It really is. So it's good that you have this type of organization, not just for females or not just for males, but for both. And
Yeah.
another thing, mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health is a big issue amongst the teenagers as well. Um, do you find that to be true when it comes to your organization, or
Yes,
when?
they're coming in broken. They're
Yeah,
broken because they feel the pressure on social media. They're putting out that this is how you should look. This is how you
right,
should act. And here it is. They're broken trying to be that person that's out there, doing their thing as a show, and they're not processing that this is for a show. And here
right.
it is, you're trying to dress and style this way, and these people go home after the show is over. They go home to an empty house. They go home and deal with their issues with their spouses, their children. But in front of the camera, they got to put on a show. And here it is, these children are showing that they want to be like them, and if they can't, here it is, the suicidal thoughts, because they
Mm-hmm.
want to fit in now. They want everybody to like them because of the clothes they wear, how much money they have. Social media is really has really torn our children and broken them down. Bullying them is what I call it, a bully. Social
Mm-hmm.
media is a bully.
Yes. Yes. But we living in those times now that all these things is happening, and it's the world. It's just we just living in some bad times, and it's hard. And that social media, yeah, it can really do something, boy. And that's all you see, these young people, they running, get on their phone. That's the first thing they get on: Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat, or whatever. And it's bad. It's bad. A lot of these kids out here, they need mentors. They need positive people in their life, you know.
Absolutely.
But it's tough. It's tough because then you got to make sure the right people are in their lives, because you can have people that have been hurt, and they'll put their hurt on them. Hurt people hurt people.
That's
So you got to make sure the right people are around the youth and doing the right thing. So that's important too. You
Absolutely.
know.
So that's a major thing with my organization. Because of what I went through, it's not something that I built overnight. This is something that's personal to me. I make sure that my volunteers go through a background check. And not only that, they have to go through orientation. When the application comes in for you to be a volunteer, those tough questions are there. And I personally interview because I know. I could tell. You sit up there and play those games or whatever. These young, because I want the college students, if they're taking, if they're dealing with psychology or dealing with social work, and going to school for that, getting their degrees. That's who we're looking for, and we want to make sure that they're on the up and up, because if they've been hurt and we start asking certain little questions, it kind of draws a red flag. If they've been through some stuff and they start talking about it and going into detail about some stuff, you just like, you might want to get some counseling for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So your book, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about it. I don't want you to tell everything.
Well,
Okay.
Priest, I told a lot of that book. I did.
Okay. Yeah. You
But
did? No,
yes,
you didn't.
but listen. The first part of the show, I did talk a lot about what the first part of my book is about, but
Right.
I do tell in my autobiography, I talk about my life because this
Right.
you when you talk to somebody, you say, you know what, I've been there. So that's what the title comes from. I've been there because I've been through a lot. Like I stated earlier, I've been through a lot of situations, and I talk about from my childhood all the way up to salvation, in Christ, and being married a second time, and how God has healed me, and a lot of situations, not just sexual abuse. I'm a breast cancer survivor, you know,
Wow.
and I've been through a lot um in my life. And if you get my book, you can truly be motivated and know that you can have that joy that comes in the morning. You just got to fight and don't give up. You got to keep going. Even on those
Yes.
rough, rainy days, you still got to keep it moving. You can't stop. You can't stop because there's something good on the other side. It
Yes.
is. It really is.
I like your motto. Your pain today will be your strength tomorrow, and
Mm-hmm.
helping youth heal from sexual abuse trauma. Keep living,
Mm-hmm.
forgiving, and thriving. Joy truly does come in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? I know you kept living,
Yeah.
and I know you kept thriving.
Yeah.
Did you forgive?
I did. A lot of people say, "What?" I've actually been on some podcasts, and I've had some people pause and say, "How in the world could you forgive?" Well, it's the Christ that's in me, because God said, "How can you say you love me whom you have not seen?" And you don't even love your brother, man. And then he also says that we have to forgive. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you, so you can be healed, so that you can start moving on. Because if you hold hatred and animosity in your heart, when somebody tries to help you, you got such a hard heart, nobody can get to you because
Right.
of that thing in your past. Yes, I've forgiven them long time ago. My dad, like I stated earlier, I have a relationship with my dad. Now, it's not where I'm up in his face or anything, but I don't hate my dad. He didn't know how to raise me and my brothers. They were, trying to do the best they could. And a lot of things he made a mistake. And I'm not making excuses for him, but I know that I just have to forgive. I don't hate anybody. I don't have hatred in my heart for anyone. I've been through, like I said, so much stuff, but I don't hate anyone. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, I talked to my dad not too long ago, and I wanted to ask him if he remembered some of the things that he said. He said he didn't. He didn't even remember that day that we talked. He didn't remember
Wow.
calling me out of my name. He didn't remember that. He doesn't remember him yelling and telling all of us never to call him dad anymore, but call him by his nickname. And I
Wow.
talked to my dad about that. I'm going to tell you, he has blocked that whole thing out of his mind. He has. He honestly, he was just very, I didn't think my dad was lying at all, because the way he said things to me in response to my questions, I don't think my dad was lying. I really do believe he blocked it out.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom's
Yeah.
not here. My mom passed away um in 2005.
I'm
But
sorry to hear that.
yeah, I miss my mom. She was my best friend. My mom, she would be so proud of me today. She really would. She would be so proud of me.
Are you proud of you?
Oh gosh, yes. I am so proud of myself. Um, I went from a frightened, scared little girl, a very promiscuous teenager, to being a woman of God, graduating with a GED, going to college for my degree in theology. Now I'm a business owner of a corporation, a nonprofit corporation, and I'm continuing to grow higher with speaking engagements, talking to people. I'm a renowned author, talking to different people in Scotland. I've talked to people in India, Canada. Yeah, I'm proud of my.
Wow. That's excellent. That's good. So your family, your husband and your kids, I know they're happy that you on
Oh,
this beautiful journey and helping others.
yeah. Every time
I-
there's an event or something going on, my husband, he always says, well, what's on the schedule? And he told me, he said, listen, fall season now. Are you busy?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. That football, that Sunday football, right?
Yeah, he looked. He said, let's look at your schedule. Let's look at mine, the football schedule.
Oh yeah, I think football comes on Monday, Sunday, and Monday,
Man,
right? I think it. Yeah,
Saturday, some Saturdays too
some
now.
Saturdays too.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Don't let me have
yeah.
something to do around that time. Oh my gosh. He's very supportive. I thank God for my husband. He's such a sweetheart. He
That's good.
pushes me a lot. He pushes me. Go ahead, honey. You need to do this. And I'm thinking, no, maybe that's a little bit much. And he's like, no, this is what God told you to do. You need to keep doing it, keep moving. So,
Wow, that's good. That
yeah.
support means everything.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
how about the kids?
Well, they're doing their thing, they're still in them that young adult stage. You know how it is with
Right.
these babies around here. I call them my babies, even though they're grown. But I have one in college, and the other ones are working, doing their thing, and so yeah, everybody's pretty much moving on, doing what they got to do. Um, I'm excited about what God is going to do and how He's going to bless even the more. All we got to do is just stay focused.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. So where can we find you? Where
Well,
can we find you? This beautiful book. How do we get it?
you can find me at author underscore Dewitt on Instagram, and I am on Facebook. It's Unbreakable Faith on Facebook, and also you can get my book at unbrkfth.com. That's my website, and when you go on my website, you can see all the activities that have taken place. We've taken pictures of our youth getting book bags for back to school drive. We gave away 50 bags of groceries and
Nice.
100 plus book bags packed with school supplies. And I still got school supplies in my office today.
Wow, that's awesome.
The support that I have received, I'm so humbled and grateful for everybody that helped out. I mean, like the blessings really came in, and I am thankful for it. But we still need more help. We still need volunteers. We still, of course, need monies for the counseling, setting up the events and whatnot. Not so much the events, but the sessions that we have for the parents and the youth, because we talk with the parents to show them. We go through sessions with them to show them what predators look like, and people
Right.
have that myth that predators look a freaky way. Well, predator could be a pastor, a
That's
predator
right.
could be a judge, a predator could be an officer. I mean,
That's right.
listen, I'm telling you. And so we talk to parents about that, and we have those workshops. Well, to have a workshop, you need to have money to run the material, right? Advertising,
Right.
stuff like that. So we always looking for donations for help with the organization. That is a big thing. We need that. Everything else is great. I appreciate all the help. finances is a big thing. But like I said, you can look for me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm on TikTok too. The same handles, all of those. Yep, everything. Yep.
Nice. Wow, this has been awesome, Michelle. I'm so proud of you. And I'm sorry you went through the things you went through, but you came up a winner. You
Yeah.
came up stronger than ever, and now you helping others, and that means a lot. You know what I mean? You're able to tell your story. It's in your book, letting the world know that don't give up, keep going, but keeping God first means a lot, because without him we're nothing. And believe it or not, sometimes when we fall short, he's always there.
That's
He's
right.
always there. So that's awesome. Give me a quick inspirational quote that you would give to somebody who's not only going through something, but maybe they would like to write a book. What would you say to somebody first who's going through something and somebody that wants to write?
Well, a person that might be going through similar circumstances, I always tell people take a moment to breathe. Stand back and breathe. Get some time to yourself and breathe, and process. Write a letter. Take that same letter, tear it up, because this means that it's a new beginning. If you need counseling, get the counseling you need. But don't dwell on it by yourself. Talk to people that are close to you, that you trust. You can't tell everybody your business.
Right.
They'll throw it back in your face. So look
Yeah.
for
It
somebody.
all it, or it'll be at the family reunion or all over the boroughs.
Right, exactly. So you have to be somebody where you feel a safe place with them. I would say that. And if anybody wants to write a book, let me tell you, I didn't want to write my book. I'm not a journalist. I don't do all that journal and all that. But my friend told me, she said, "You always telling your story. Why don't you put it in a book? There are people that are waiting to hear from you." And when I thought about that thing, I was like, wow, you know what? That does make sense. So I would say to anyone, if you want to tell your story, tell your story. Don't worry about what people say. Don't worry about what they're thinking. Listen, I put my book out and my family was very upset, I'll say. And yeah, so don't worry about it. Keep going. This is going to be a new beginning for you. So go ahead and
Yes.
do it. Just go on and do it. You'll feel good
That's
after you do it. You'll feel good.
yeah. Right. Thank you for that.
Hmm.
Wow, this has been great. And you definitely got to come back, because I know there's a part two to this. So definitely come back. And I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work. And like I tell everybody that listens to me, you got to live, laugh, love. But you got to love you first, because you can't love anything or anyone unless you love you. You got to stay healthy, stay focused, and keep God first in your life. And hug and squeeze your family and your pets, because they family too. Just a little bit tighter. Michelle, oh, but of course, love you, mommy and daddy, forever. Well, Michelle, I want to thank you so much for being on Listen Up, Listening podcast. I know we don't try this about 40,000 times,
I know,
but
right?
we gonna keep doing it. I don't care. We gonna get this right,
That's right.
because your story is inspirational, and I know it can help so many people in the world. So I want to thank you so much for coming on my show, and you're always welcome to come back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, and you have a good day, and you keep smiling, because I think the whole interview you was cheesing. And I
Yep.
like that, because it shows you have you seem like you have a fun and beautiful personality. So please keep it up, because people need to see that. People are going through so much today, and to see somebody smile and bring joy to their life means a lot. So you keep it up, sis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Dewitt, and you've been listening to the Listen Up, Listen In podcast with Preezy. But check me out at www.unbrkfth.com and on my social media sites, facebook.com and instagram.com. Remember, keep living, forgiving, and thriving. Joy truly does come in the morning.
Yay!
Oh, thank you.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplistenin5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Yeah.